friends. Okay, what you just saw me doing was getting prepared for lockdown. Today is day 18. We've got 3 more days on our chain. See, hatch day, April 12th. Now, for lockdown, one of the most important things I did is I took out this turner. Remember the turner? We talked about how the mama chick, naturally, she turns all of her chicks to make sure they're developing correctly. At this point, though, she is not going to turn them. They wouldn't turn them, so we have to take the turner out. And I put in there a board like this. It's cardboard, and it's bumpy. If you can hear it, it's bumpy. We got to put something in there that's non-slick, something that will give them some friction, something that will help them make sure that they're not rolling too much all over the place when they're hatching. I also put some wet paper towels in there. That's just wet paper towels. I need to get that humidity, and if you notice the humidity right there, it is at 79, which is great. We need to get the humidity as high as we can for these last 3 days. When you get the humidity as high as you can, it's because the chicks, remember we talked about, they're not going to be cute and fluffy right when they hatch. They're wet and they're kind of yucky looking. But if that shell gets stuck because it gets too dry inside the incubator, well then it makes the work way too hard on the chick. We get the humidity up high so that it will not stick to the shell, will not stick to the egg, will not stick to the chicks, and they're going to be able to just push that off a little easier. All right, let me show you what's going on here. If we were to look, if we were to look inside right now, you're going to hear me talking. I'll go back to that picture, but you're going to hear me talking about an air cell a lot. We talked about that air cell, friends, so I'm not shaking the computer, the iPad, sorry guys. We talked about that air cell a lot when they were developing. That air cell is now, if we were to put a flashlight or a candle on this egg, that air cell is very visible. That's where that little chick is going to take its first breath. And guess what? It's going to probably take its first breath this afternoon, tonight, and at the latest in the morning. As you can see, the chick pretty much fills up the entire egg except that air cell at the very bottom. If we were to look, the chick's going to continue to grow bigger and bigger. I like this picture, but I don't love it because it doesn't show the air cell. The air cell would be right here at the top. The chick's head is going to be turning close to the air cell. At this point too, the yolk is just going to be absorbed in the body because they need the last bit of energy in order for it to hatch out of the egg. All right, back here on my other page, it says the beak turns towards the air cell. We talked about that. And the beak is going to break through that inner shell membrane. Once it breaks through, and this will be, as I said, either the end of today, tonight, tomorrow morning, the lungs are going to go ahead and they're going to start breathing on their own in that tiny shell. The yolk sac is going to just be absorbed into the body for that energy. The lungs are going to be using the air cell to breathe. Every part of that shell is going to be filled up, and it's going to be so funny when you see them hatched. You're going to be like, how in the world did that chick fit in that egg? It's crazy. The neck is going to actually begin to start spasming, and this will probably happen about Saturday night, maybe Saturday afternoon. When that neck starts spasming, that egg tooth that we talked about, let's see if this shows. It really doesn't show a picture of the egg tooth. But the egg tooth is that bump that I showed you in that story that I read. That bump in the egg tooth, on the beak, is the egg tooth. And just like your baby teeth, the egg tooth that is on the tip of that beak is going to fall off once they don't need it anymore. But that egg tooth is going to be what they use to break open the shell, and it's going to give a little pip to the shell. Now, once it starts that little tiny hole, remember I told you they're going to take probably a little nap, probably a few hours, and then they'll continue to try to hatch. It's very important at that time too that I not help them out. This is why it's called lockdown. I gotta leave the top on of the incubator. I gotta just watch them because they need that exercise to get out of the shell. They need that exercise in order to, they need that strength. It's like a workout for them in order for them to get out of the shell and have legs that are strong enough to walk over to the food and have a neck that's strong enough to hold them up, hold their little heads up, okay? So that's what's going on. I can't wait to show you. I promise I'll try my very, very best to get as best videos as I can. I miss you all so much. Love you lots. Bye.